Welcome in to the At the Yard podcast, episode 133. Once again, joined by the full crew today. Hank, we missed you last time, but full crew is back today. Hardy, Hank, Vinnie, myself, Lukach. And we're here to wrap up, well, not quite wrap up, but kind of catch up, I guess, on some fall events. It's been a busy few weeks up and down the state. Sacramento, Orange County hosting a fall ID, the High Desert and Orange County hosting an uncommitted games, and then also some freshman free events involved mixed in there. But boys, a little hiatus there last week. So good to have you guys back and excited to talk about 25, 30 players here.
Happy to be back. Missed you guys last week.
Yeah, it's good to see Hank again. It feels like we haven't seen you in a while.
Thanks for the invite,
We excluded NorCal last time.
Yeah. It was West Coast game recap. I'm sure you followed it on social and via text, but
I was watching live. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You were the secret guy in the comments the whole time?
Yeah, I was the burner guy.
The burner account?
There it is. Now we know.
Yeah.
We used to think we knew, but now we know.
Inside guy.
Yeah. Well, guys, like as mentioned, we kicked things off with the High Desert and the Orange County uncommitted games a couple of weeks ago. Last weekend, Sacramento and Orange County, we had a fall ID and a freshman free, kind of back to back in the same day. So a lot of players come through here in the last couple of weeks. Kind of building on the fall. And I think the early analysis for me is like the 27 class is really talented in Southern California. And I think the 29 class is kind of starting to take shape for us, I think, throughout the state.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 27 class is kind of starting to separate itself a little bit. We're starting to see some really good players make names for themselves. And it was good to get eyes on that 29 class as we're kind of starting to learn about it. And I think you made a great point. Like, we saw some guys down in Orange County. There were 4 or 5 where we're sitting behind the table during batting practice, Vinny and Les and I, and it's like, dude, this kid might be a varsity kid as freshman. Like, this is a guy that's going to be pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Up here we had about 25 freshmen up there, and I was kind of in the same boat, whereas like you've only maybe ever heard of this kid, and then you see him, you're like, he could be a varsity guy. And
Yeah.
So it was good to get just a group pretty much getting their feet wet for a lot of them for prep baseball. So I don't know. It was just good to see the younger group out there mixed in with the ID guys. So I thought it went well.
Yeah, I thought with the 27 guys that we've seen, there's a lot of guys that came in that you could tell they made some serious strides in the summer with their body. I think it showed in batting practice, especially. The exit velos were jumping, ball flight was taking off a little more. So it was good to see that guys are, taking advantage of the weight room, because that's going to be really important for them over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I think.
And
I was going to say one thing for me, like that 28 class up in my area, it just keeps growing with kids that are really good. Like, I already liked it. And then we had, I think, 3 guys come down to Orange County that are 28s from up in this area, where it was like, holy moly, like, we're going to talk about a couple of them today where it keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, and that's not to be dismissive of the 26 class too, right? Because there was a lot of really good 26s in those uncommitted games. There's a couple at the IDs. Like, I think the 26 class, there's still a lot of talent left in, California as a whole. I just, I hope that the recruiting process is kind of an open-minded one for a lot of these guys, right? Like, it's not a direct path anymore, like it used to be.
Yeah, I have had a couple talks with the different 26s that we've seen, and really kind of explained, like, yeah, everything's moving slower, but be open-minded. Like, I had one kid said he got a phone call from a school in South Dakota, and I was talking to his dad. He's like, he walked back into the house just so excited. He's like, it was one of his first recruiting phone calls, and it was like, hey, this is realistic. Like, it's not just people telling me that I'm good. It's college programs are now starting to say, like, hey, we want you to come play for us.
And I think we can see too, going back to our 27 classes, you can see all the commitments coming in just from in the past couple months. And even with the 26s, I mean, there's still commitments coming in, but then again, like you guys said, maybe it's not just the right time to commit. Maybe he needs another year in his timeline to, develop. But yeah, I agree. Just be open-minded in this whole recruiting process.
Yeah, I mean, it's just with everything that's going on, right? I mean, get in where you can, play,
Mhm.
and let it take you where it's going to take you. But where this is taking us is to a conversation about some standouts here from these events that we hosted over the last couple of weeks. And Vinny, I'm going to start with you. A catcher out of a storied program in America's toughest league. That usually catches your attention. And when you look at, he started about a dozen games for them last year. The future bodes pretty well for this young man.
Yeah, so Logan Miller, catcher out of Mater Dei High School, just gonna start his junior year now, and he was at our SoCal uncommitted games, and he immediately jumped out at me on the defensive side of the ball. Pop time was the best pop time of the event was 192, averaged out to about 2.0. Arm carry was 77 to second base. And in game, he showed really soft hands behind the plate. He stole a lot of strikes on the low ball. I felt when I was out in center field filming the pitchers, was stealing a lot of strikes, threw out a runner as well in live game. And then in his third at bat, also picked up a base hit and had exit velo up to 94 in batting practice. So it was just a well balanced day for Logan, but I really like him on the defensive side of the ball. I think there's definitely potential for that at the next level with him. And 191 pounds has a good frame for a catcher. I know that some programs it's starting to shift to the smaller frame catchers, but I still think there's value for the 6'1", the strong build backstops. And Logan just looked really good behind the dish throughout the day, and then I was happy he was able to carry it over on the offensive side of the ball too. And then Hank, gonna go over to you, a guy that was over at your sack ID, and that is Jack Ellis, right-handed pitcher.
Yeah, Jack. Jack he's one of the few 26s that came, but he's a PO. He goes to Vista Del Lago High School in Folsom, but this kid, I would consider him one of those late bloomers. He's 6'5", 190 pounds, and he was throwing 87-mile-an-hour sinkers in October. So, I mean, I think he's got a lot left in the tank, especially if he gets another year under his belt. But, I mean, I think I was looking at the TrackMan numbers, and his off speed were in the 24, 2500. So secondaries are there. And I think, he's another kid to where it's like, look, if you go to JUCO for a year or two, you might be throwing low 90s and fit that starter profile. So that's what I like about these IDs is you find kids like this, and then you kind of keep an eye on them. And you're like, oh, okay, like that makes sense now. So yeah, Jack Ellis is a kid, I think, where he's got to be on someone's radar. And I think in the spring he's going to pop up somewhere. But yeah, I was a huge fan of Jack. But let's kick it over to Hardy. And we're going to go talk about, I like this kid, Nick Gonzalez.
Yeah, Hank got to see Nick back at the preseason All-State that we had in Antelope Valley back in January. I've had a chance to see Nick. This is, I think, my 5th time this year. Saw him there, saw him in high school, saw him at our West Coast program invite, and he just keeps getting better. He's one of those, like Vinny talked about, the big body guys. Nick's not that. He's more of that compact, athletic kid, but he just keeps getting better. He's like a 5'8", 165. He runs a 6'8". He's got really interesting arm strength. Like I've seen him play up the middle at shortstop. The arm keeps getting stronger. He's throwing accurately. He moves really well over there. But then at the high desert uncommitted games, he jumped into the outfield and threw from right field. And he was 88, 89, and Les and Vinny can attest to this. There was a howling wind that day that made it real
Yeah.
hard for guys to perform and for him to go out there where, your hands dry, the wind's blowing in your face, and he uncorks 288-mile-an-hour throws to home through the wind was pretty impressive. And then I love this kid's swing. Like he's a little dude, but he does not get cheated. He takes a hack, kind of gets to this deeper hand position, but he's got almost 24 miles an hour of hand speed. He rotates at 21 Gs. He gets up to 72, 73 with his bat speed, and he hits some baseballs hard. I mean, he was hitting balls upward. What was it? Let's see. Can't find it right. It was mid 90s. He gets to the upper 90s. It's really hitterish. He hit over 400 in high school. He had 2 knocks that day, and yeah, like I'll be honest, the wind definitely helped our hitters. They were getting some balls in the air, and the wind was just taking off. But he hammered 2 balls into right center. That wind or no wind, they were going to be doubles or triples because they were splitting the gap. So Nick's a guy again. He's probably a little under the radar being out there in the high desert, but he's a name that people need to know because he can help some college programs. We shift it back into maybe a little bit more of a traditional powerhouse. And this program's produced a lot of really good players, and they got another one in Jake Guzman out of South Hills High School. Les, I know you really liked him at the ID.
Yeah, man. South Hills, yeah, like you said, powerhouse program, traditionally strong up the middle, pitching, all the way through. And it looks like Guzman's next, right? I mean, this guy, shows up to RID and, a lot like the young man you were just talking about there, Hardy, like he just really impressed with the bat, right? I mean, the hand speed of 24.4. I mean, his max bat speed at 84 miles an hour and the rotation was, at 15%. It's just for 15 Gs, excuse me. Like it's just, he put it all together during 2 rounds of BP, exit velo up to over 100. But then you saw him on defense, man. And I looked at Vinny as we were over there kind of getting the stats. I looked at Vinny, I said, there's some Elijah Mason vibes here.
Yeah.
And then he fielded his first ball and Vinny was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just smooth. It's easy. It's a fast arm. It's a strong arm on a 6'3", 6'2", 175-pound frame that's just going to get bigger and stronger. He was 90 across the diamond, right middle of the chest. And it's just a really intriguing profile right now because I think he can stay on the left side, whether that's short or he grows into third. I think there's enough juice in the bat where that's just going to continue to get bigger and bigger and more pronounced as he adds size to that frame. And I mean, you guys saw him, right?
Yeah.
He swung angry. Like there's certain guys you watch him swing and it looks pretty. He swung angry. He hit some balls really hard.
Yeah, I thought at that event there was a lot of guys who were more one-sided. They stood out on the defensive side of the ball or at the plate, but he was one of the very few that stood out on both sides. The arm strength from shortstop, and then like Hardy said, the angry swing resulted in 101 max EV.
Yeah, he was good. And Hank, I want to go back to what point you mentioned about the IDs earlier. Like this is a guy who plays at South Hills. I see them 4 to 6 times a year. Hadn't heard of him, right? Comes to an ID.
Okay.
Now this guy's a 26. I mean, he's firmly entrenched on our radar. He may or may not be committed to Cal State Fullerton. We haven't been able to confirm that yet as of time of recording this podcast, but I mean, he fits the bill there, right?
Yeah.
Like a Fullerton guy for sure.
Yeah.
Especially the controlled violence swing, just that, South Hills guys have gone to Fullerton in the past. And so
Right.
I mean, it's a
Right.
perfect niche for them. And,
Right.
I think Fullerton needs a little bit more of that. So
Rise the Titans.
And with that, Hank, we will kick it over to Vinny.
yeah, go Titans.
Oh man. So we'll kick it over to Vinny. Vinny, a guy, Max Adams out of Carlsbad, who I saw last year during the spring break tournament. You saw a couple of times, and
Yeah.
I believe we saw him again in the summer. It just continues to get better and better there for the shortstop out of Carlsbad.
Yeah, Max, I saw him a few times in the spring, and he's just a winning player, which I think any program values. And he played second and third primarily for Carlsbad, but I think he'll move over to short this year for his junior year. And they put him at the top of the lineup. He produced a smart baseball player, hits the ball the other way, line drives. And we saw that at the SoCal and committed games where he had 2 base hits the other way, stole 2 bags, high IQ player. Ran a 6.9860, which was among the leaders of the event over there. 21.9 hand speed. Just overall, just a well-balanced player. And I like that, the hands that he has on the defensive side of the ball, which I think will translate well for him, possibly moving over to short this year. But I just like that Max is just a winning player, and he showed that with Carlsbad this year, and he's part of a really good group of 27s that they have, that I think can build into 2026 over at Carlsbad.
Yeah,
And then
pretty.
Hank, sorry, go for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's pretty athletic. I just
Yeah.
his actions are really good. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna send it over to Hank, another guy that was at your SAC ID, someone that we're familiar with, and that's Mason Harris.
Yeah, Mace. I think we have Mace ranked the number one for second baseman in the state.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got to see Mace a good amount during the year. He goes to Whitney High School. He actually was their starting shortstop as a freshman. Held his own. I'd say the kid hits. Okay, the kid's always going to hit. I think it's just a matter of, can he stay at shortstop? And from the ID, I think it's trending in that direction. Just looking at his 60, he went from an 8.2 to like a 7.5, which is his last one was in February. So whatever he's been doing off the field, I think's been working. And then he led the whole event in hitting. I think his highest EV was around 99. He was and it was impressive too. He was just ripping balls through the middle of the field, but it was line drive with carry. And so you can kind of tell like the power is coming. And I think his arm is getting stronger. He got up to 85 in the infield. But like I said earlier, it's going to be a question of, is he quick enough to stay on the left side of the infield? But like the bat's always going to play. He's a really good kid. Whitney's a really good program. So I think it's going to be a toss up in that league to see, who's going to be that winner. But yeah, I think Mace has a shot to be the shortstop again this year. But like I said, for future stuff, could move over to second, could be left fielder type guy. But, like I said, hitters will hit. So
they play.
That said, what was that?
And they play.
And they play.
You hit, you play.
You will not sit.
We will find you a spot.
Yes.
You hit, you play. That's pretty much how it works.
All right, we're gonna kick it up to Hardy, up in your area, actually. A kid named Hector Anaya.
You got it. And he fits the mold of everything Hank just talked about, maybe just 2 years older than Mason. Hitters hit. Like, I got a chance to see Hector in the spring. He plays at Quartz Hill High School, which is the rival of Nick Gonzalez Highland High School. So the two shortstops out of both of those programs, which have won, I think, 6 or 7 of the last 8 league titles in the Golden League out there. And I really loved Hector's baseball ability when I saw him in the spring. And it kind of goes back to what Les said. Now we had a chance to get him out and get him through a workout and be able to see all the different metrics and back that up to the very strong baseball performance that he had in the spring. Again, I'm going to bring the wind up. We were running into a stiff wind, and I think Nick Gonzalez's 6'8" is probably a 6'5" with no wind. Hector ran a 7'4". He's probably running a 7'1" with no wind. It was just 30 miles an hour into their face. What I really loved about him is hitters hit. Like, his BP was so good. It was just barrel after barrel. He stays to the middle opposite part of the field. It's line drives. He's got enough sneaky impact that he can really get it through and elevate a ball to the pull side. So he's got this general awareness for his barrel from a very simple operation. It's a quiet load. It's a quick turn. And he's on time. And that showed up in the game. Vinny, I think he had a breaking ball hit in his first at bat. And it was one where, he was on time for the fastball. Guy spun him something. He's able to adjust and get his barrel there and shoot it into right field for a knock. He triples later in the game, and he did everything well. He's a high school shortstop. I think the arm and the athleticism have to get just a tick better for him to play there at the next level. But you can move him to second or third. He's going to be a really strong defender at either of those spots, and the bat's going to play. Like Hank said, hitters hit. We're going to find you a place to play if you can do things like that. We go to another middle infielder, another guy who swung the bat very well, in Landon Scott out of Temecula Valley.
Yeah, Scott, a teammate of West Coast game participant Stafford Johnson out there at Temecula Valley, like up the middle. That's a pretty good duo, if you ask me. But I wouldn't be surprised if Johnson ends up in the outfield because I think his athleticism there would really play up. Ran a 7.08. I mean, pretty average for an infielder. Was 83 across the diamond. The arm really works though. Like it's, again, very accurate. It's going to show some carry. He's at 6 foot, 177, 83. I mentioned on across the diamond there, but he's got some hand speed. The hands worked fast on the infield, and it kind of that carried over at the plate. He's at 22 miles there, 22 miles an hour, and rotated at 20 Gs. I mean, he gets around the ball fast, and he keeps the hands in sight, and he gets the barrel on the ball. I mean, pretty good high hit percentage there, hard hit percentage there for him as well. But Scott's just like an athletic guy that I think is kind of still growing into his body. Like you get the sense that he's still not fully comfortable with his body, and he might continue to grow, which is why I say if he does, I mean, the outfield could be a good spot for him. But, his BP was filled of kind of like you said earlier, up the middle line drives.
Yeah.
And it was just like he was abusing the gaps. And they went 2 rounds of, I think it was 6 or 7. And it was both of them were just like there. And you're just kind of like, okay, then you see him defensively and he moves around pretty well. And you're just kind of like, okay, this might work. But if it doesn't, you just get that feeling that it's really going to work out in the outfield. Yeah. Vinny, another guy that was at this same event that we all 3 of us liked, Cruz Rodriguez out of Chaminade. I know Hardy had seen him a little bit in the spring, but this was my first time seeing him in this sort of setting.
Yeah, it was my first time seeing Cruz Rodriguez as well, and the arm talent I really liked behind the plate was 79 miles an hour, but every throw was right at the bag. It seemed on all 4 throws to second base. The pop time was 204 to 214, and I think if I were to have like any sort of tip for him, it would probably be just trying to speed up the feet a little bit on his transfers as time goes on. I think if he does do that with the arm talent, I think you could see those pop times shrink down to maybe around a 2 average, get sub 2 on his pop times because the release is quick, the throws are accurate to second base. So that's kind of where he stood out immediately to me. And then he hops in the batter's box, was 96.4 on his exit velo, 21 hand speed, was a short swing, kind of like Landon, was using the middle of the field well. And it was just a good workout setting for Cruz, but I really like the arm talent behind the plate. I think that's what's going to help him, continue to improve behind the dish because if he can quicken the feet a little bit behind the plate, I think you're looking at a really good catch and throw backstop.
Yeah, that's a great point on that, Vinny. I was throwing to the catchers during that, and like generally, like you're throwing and you just kind of you're watching. He threw the first one, and I had to stop and pop my head around because it came out so good and so accurate.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, and then Hank, going over to you, your last guy from your sack ID. I won't say the name because I don't want to botch it, but a outfielder, left-handed pitcher from Wood Creek High School.
Dude, I probably botched his name a couple times that day. 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 is
Okay.
99% sure that's the right way to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ethan, he's another kid to where I never really heard about him. I think he was on the JV team at Wood Creek last year, but he's 6 foot, 145 pounds, soaking wet. But I noticed him when he stepped in the box, and I was like, "Who's this kid?" And he's just taking G hacks, right? And usually, like when kids are taking G hacks and BP, their heads flying off or whatever. But this kid was like left center, right center, and I'm like, okay, there's something there. And then find out he pitches too, and he's only 78, 79, but in a couple of years when he's up to 160, 70 pounds. He's going to be a good little pitcher, and, he moves around well in the outfield. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife. You can put him at first, too. But I think he's a kid to where you just monitor him a little bit, and he continues to get reps under his belt. It's another kid to where he's going to be a bat in this area, and then it's like, hey, he could also throw. So, yeah, Ethan Cherokee, I'm a pretty big fan of just from the first time seeing him. But yeah,
like little guys that rake.
Yeah, that's on. I mean, our Cal guys can hit. It's just, you guys play year round, so everything's defined. But you guys, it's all working well. But another kid, I think he went to state games, I believe. Hardy.
He's
Sean
been around
Downs.
a few. Yeah. So Sean, it was a hard one for me to pick my last guy from High Desert because there were a lot of good players out there. The Miles Herberts, the Damian Cordero from Aquinas, who had a really good day, a few other guys. But man, Sean, I had to go with him because of the amount of development that we've seen in the last 2 years from him, not only as a baseball player, but that kid, and Vinny, you said this earlier, he has got in the weight room and he has redeveloped his body to the point that he looks like a corner profile power hitter. There's a saying, if that's what it looks like, Sean is what it looks like. Like, it's strong in the lower half, it's strong up top, it's not dumpy. It's like he's got a little bit of man strength coming to him. That work that he has done has showed up in what he does as a right-handed hitter. It's a not violent, out of control power swing. It's a very well connected, tight, good swing that has a lot of strength. He went 101 off the bat. He hit 3 balls to left center field in BP that, if the wind's not howling in his face, easily leave the park. He was on the barrel. I think he was 92 with his average EV. Everything's in the air. It was really good. And then he caps the day. And there were a few wind-dated balls that went off the wall and found gaps. But Sean got one up to right center. And I don't care if there was a 30-mile-an-hour wind or no 30-mile-an-hour wind. That ball was leaving to right center. He absolutely hammered his last swing of the day. And it's just, this is more a testament to the work that Sean has done to develop himself and become the player that showed up out there, because he 2 years ago did not look like this, and he did not swing the bat like this, and he did not have what you looked at and went, that's a college level player. Now you look at Sean, and we had a junior college coach out there who pulled him aside at the end of the event and was like, hey man, where are you going to school next year? Like, let's have a talk. Like, we would love to have you come to our school. So it was a really good day for him, but this is a tip of the hat to you, Sean, and everything that you've done to get to this point. Kicking it back to Les, and we're going to go back into Orange County. Corona Del Mar, what do they call them? SoCal shortstops, and especially ones out of Orange County, when they look like this kid and the potential that he has in Jack Phillips.
Yeah, he was a guy, I think when he walked up, I told you I was pretty excited to have there. He is a very, very talented middle infielder, right? I think at 5'10", 163 pounds, he's not done growing. The arm across the infield at 83 was really good. He ran a 7.22 60 on turf. It was kind of dewy, little cold, but nonetheless a 7.22. But then he gets into the box, and it's, again, a line drive, barrel-filled 2 rounds of BP where he kind of used all fields. He was, a little late at times going, shooting it to right field. But then once he found his groove, it was, left center, pull side, right center, left center. I mean, it was a pretty good display of hitting. I just think that it's just another talented middle infielder. I know that, plays in a good league there at Corona Del Mar. There's some power, not I wouldn't say a lot. I mean, max EV of 95, but average was around 82. So, there's still some developing power there with Phillips, who at the present time, has the ability, I think, to stay at shortstop for CDM here, in the next couple of years as he graduates. And then, moving on to the next level, I think it's going to be a matter of added strength. That work that you just talked about, Hardy, with Sean Downs, is a matter of, is this guy going to put on that strength, that mass, that, and really elevate his game. But I think right now there's a really strong foundation for what could be a really good player in 2 years. Yeah. And going back to what you said about Downs, I mean, you're 100% right. Like, tip of the cap to that guy. 100%. I mean, I told you when he walked up, I'm like, dude, is he wearing mediums? His pants look like Like, holy
It was just like I had to go. I'm like, is this the same Sean Downs? I think I went on my
right.
phone to pull up because like and we talked about guys that are early developers and get good really early. And then
Yeah.
you have other guys that just takes longer to click, and it's
Yeah.
clicking for Sean.
Yeah.
And it's like for those guys that maybe you're not there yet, that kid is a testament to like put your head down, work, grind, and you're gonna find your way to somewhere that's gonna give you an opportunity to play at the next level.
Yeah.
But a guy like Sean too is a perfect example, like you said, a JUCO coach talked
Yep.
to him on the side, right? But like,
Yeah.
that could be Sean's, avenue to,
Yep.
play at a higher level that people.
Here's a
100%.
conversation that I had with him after he was asking questions, and I'm like, hey man, like you're late into the process because it took you a little bit longer to get your abilities like some of the other kids. Dude,
Yeah.
go to JUCO, crush it for 2 years and play at a good program. You probably gonna wind up playing at a good Division 2, and who knows, you might wind up at a Division 1. This is
Right.
the perfect avenue for you.
Yeah.
And that's a kid who's been going to our events with, end quote, better
Yeah.
players, right? And so
Yeah.
he's been able to see the best of the best around him. And so for him to not get discouraged like that and say, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing, work hard, and let it play out. I think a lot of kids can kind of learn from that.
Oh, 100%.
Yes,
100%.
that's a great point.
I couldn't agree more with you, Hank. That's a great point.
I see it up here a lot too.
It's a resiliency factor. Like
Right.
he didn't quit. He said, no, I'm going to go look like you guys and I'm going to play like you guys.
There's no ego involved, which is
Yeah.
great with a kid like that, because especially in SoCal, there's so many events and so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so it's like, as a kid, it's hard. You kind of have to block it out and be like, well, he just committed to Vandy. He committed to LSU. And I'm on my 4th year of high school and I hit 250 last year. Like, there's still time is what I'm getting at.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, no, those are really good points, Hank. Speaking of time, Vinny, this young man, being a 2028's got some time, but he really impressed. Again, another powerhouse program here in SoCal. Tell us a little bit about outfielder Ryan Nestor.
Yeah, Nestor, Harvard Westlake guy, powerhouse program like you just mentioned. Showed up to the Orange County Fall ID and really put together just a well-balanced day. 82 mile an hour from the outfield, but he had some of the best throws to third base and home, across the list of guys that were throwing. It was just accurate, long one-hop throws. Then he hops in the batter's box, and it's a really aggressive swing, and it's a kind of a controlled violence. And he was driving the ball to, middle of the field, was going left center, right center. I think that the body's going to continue to develop, so that 91, max exit velocity, I think, is going to continue to, trend upwards for him because, the body is 5'10", 170, but there's plenty of fill for him to get stronger over the next 2 years. And I think you're definitely going to see that with him. And the part that stood out the most was he had an event best 6'6", 760. Just really fast. And, that's going to translate for him to be a center field, right field profile. And I just think projectability wise, Ryan's going to be a really good player over the next 2 years. And he's in a great spot at Harvard Westlake, which is obviously a very good program.
I think I made the joke. Is this the next Red Panther? Because he's got that.
He's got the hair too. He's got the hair. There's no question.
The baby panther.
Is it? Yeah, the baby Red Panther.
The baby panther.
Yeah. So I think that, he's really good, man. I really liked him. He got some action on varsity last year, late inning pinch runner, late inning defensive replacement. So yeah, he's got his feet wet for sure there.
Yeah. And then Hank, going over now to your freshman free guys that were at the SAC ID, and we will start with Mateo Smiley, shortstop, right-handed pitcher.
Yeah, we had a good group of freshmen come out. Mateo, he's another one of those kids. All these kids are still, you look at them and they're super young still. Mateo, I think he was about 5'11", 140 pounds. That was like the average weight of this group, I think, something around there. But he's ran the fastest 60 of the event. I think it was like 7'3" or something like that. He's a prototypical outfielder, kind of a center fielder type kid. Can really track it down in the outfield. The arm, still, it's got some work to do, but then again, he's in his fall year of his freshman, so there's still a lot of time. Same with a lot of these kids. I try not to look at them too hard. Like I remember when I was a freshman, it was, everything was down. So kind of like relating it to Sean Downs is, I'd rather peak a little later in terms of this recruiting process.
Yep.
But yeah, Mateo, he goes to Colfax High School, which is kind of in middle of nowhere up north. But they come up down here for baseball, and he gets his work in, and I think he's going to turn out to be a really good center fielder when it's all said and done. Stealing bags, and once that arm gets stronger, and when he was hitting, that's where I was impressed. There was a lot of line drives, and then he hit a couple pull sides where it's like, okay, this freshman has a shot. So I was really impressed with him.
Did you say 5'11", 140?
Yeah, like there was that was a lot of builds out there.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking of it is there's a lot of room to grow. So
yeah, 100%. Wow, that's crazy. Okay.
And then let's throw it over to you, Hardy. I know now a lot of people know about this high school is Oaks Christian. Got Leighton DeNove. Did I say that right?
You're called DeNovi.
DeNovi.
Yes. So I only know that because this is going to date myself, but I grew up playing against his uncle in Legion Ball and high school. He went to Aguara and played on a powerhouse Aguara team. His uncle wound up going to UCLA, played in the Reds organization. There were two catchers in my area, Mike Nikias and his uncle Chris DeNovi, who were just absolute dudes. And I was really I actually didn't know they were connected until they got to the event. And I asked his mom, I was like, all right, I got to ask a question. I was like, are you guys related to a Chris DeNovi? And she's like, yeah, that's his uncle. And I was like, okay. And I was explaining the story, and Leighton just adds to what is a really impressive 2028 class at Oaks Christian. We've talked about guys like Oliver Douse Curtis, Ryan Sheffer, Cole KJ Henrik, and now you throw Leighton into the mix, who's getting reps with their varsity squad this fall playing center field. And it's a little bit raw. Like, he's not as well developed as maybe those three that we talked about before, but if he's not as well developed, he's not far behind. Like, he's got some really good movements and things he does out there. He rotates really well as a left-handed hitter. A 21.6 on the rotational acceleration. The hands are quick at 22 miles an hour. He gets up to 71 miles an hour bat speed, and he hits the ball solid. It's not loud yet. He's up to 84, but he's averaging 81. So he's getting to that high-end contact consistently. It took him a little bit to get comfortable in BP. And then when he got his timing down, it just turned into line drive, ball in the air to the pull side, line drive, 7-1 runner. Like, he's just got the makings. And then you throw that bloodline of hey, really good uncle. And there was a kid at Oaks Christian last year that had two really good uncles and then went in the third round.
Yeah.
He's got the profile to be a very good player, and just continues to add to what, like Hank said, is in a very good Oaks Christian program. Well, we're going to go back to that powerhouse in the Mission League, and we're going to talk about another kid out of Harvard Westlake. But this is a kid who came to an event last year at this time and had a solid time. He was good, solid, but has gotten very solid-ish. I like that. But he's just continued to get better. And that's Eric Tawney, the switch hitting infielder and right-handed pitcher out of Harvard Westlake.
Yeah, looking at my notes and the video from the event, it's hard to kind of decide where I like him more. He was good. He was good defensively. Like, you can, easily profile that over at third base. I think while he took ground balls from short, he handled himself well enough. I think, at third base that might play up a little bit. The thing that was really intriguing with his batting was that, yes, he's a switch hitter, and yes, he got an in-game hit from both sides, but it's really hard to see many differences from the right side to the left side.
They're identical.
Yeah, it's like an almost identical swing from the right side and the left side, which, is kind of uncommon when you really dive into switch hitters. But it's an impressive frame, I think, at 5'11" or 5'10"-ish, 175. It's not done. If he gets to 5'11", he gets to 6 foot, you might feel a little more comfortable with him at third base. But the hands work, the arm works over on defense. On the mound, he was, up to 84. He touched 84. It was a lot of 82, 83. But dude, it was strikes with the fastball. It was strikes with the changeup. It was strikes with the curveball. And he just attacked and he competed. So it was just a really impressive showing. And like you said, Hardy, he went from a good-ish showing at his previous showcase to like a really strong show.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think both.
I think he had knocks from both sides of the plate that day. I think he went, and both times he went to the opposite field,
Other way.
staying inside the ball and staying on it.
Yeah, and so it's like, it was just an impressive day. Like it was enough to make me want to say, hey, I want to see more of him.
Yeah,
and I think
agree.
I think that's kind of the advantage of these events is like. We've talked about now 4 guys, Hank, right? Like didn't know about them, or maybe you saw them once, and it's like now you want to see them more because you've seen their improvements.
Yeah, I mean that's all it takes really to come to one of these fall events is you take advantage of it, you get seen, and then it's like, okay, now I can know you for the springtime and bigger events and stuff like that. So there is value to these.
Yeah,
100%.
I think the spring coverage alone, right? Like, I mean, there's probably 12, 15 guys from our fall events that, going back to our trip up to Oregon, maybe even more by now, that's like, all right, I got to see this high school team play. I want to see it. So it's like, I mean, that's kind of how we get asked that a lot. Like, how do you decide what games you want to go to? Well, it's player driven, right? We want to go see these particular players.
Right.
And so, I was asked that at what I think Orange County uncommitted games, guy up in your area.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's from these events we create our lists, and that's who we go see in the spring. And so
it's almost like which kids from the team DM you more,
So I tell kids, like, catch my eye, give me a reason to come see you play.
Right.
We were walking out of High Desert, and I think I had both Anaya Gonzalez, a couple other kids from those Highland Courts, like, hey, are you coming out to watch that game? I'm like, you guys confirmed that I'm coming back out this spring to watch Highland and Quartz Hill with how well all of you guys performed today.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's how it starts too. Like even going back to future games, like all those kids are you guys going to be in the high school season? And
right.
All right, I'll go to Chico now just because
I will make the 2-hour drive because you're really good and you're worth it.
Right. Yeah, no, that's great. Another guy, Vinnie, just to kind of close it out with you here, the freshman free in Orange County. I'm glad you added this guy because if you weren't, I was going to. I really, really thought this guy had a standout day. 𝐿𝐼𝐴 from Diamond Bar High School was really impressive to me. So I'm glad you picked him.
Yeah, Kim's batting practice was really eye-opening. It's a little unorthodox because he does not many hitters do it, but he does the step back with the back foot as a timing mechanism, and it works for him because he was spraying balls to all fields, some pull side power, had a max distance, I think close to 360. He's only a freshman right now. And the swing it's a level swing. He's not trying to lift the ball, but he's able to lift the ball. He backspins the baseball really well. And I think it's because of his hand path. I think it's just a really whippy swing that's creating some bat speed for him. And I think that he's a left-handed. I think you can put him in the corner outfield. You can put him at first base. The bat's going to play, like we said earlier, like guys that'll hit, you'll find a place for him. And I think Elijah is going to be a guy that we're going to look at in 2 to 3 years. Like this left-handed bat is really, really good. And it's just because he's just able to put the bat on the ball very consistently. And he was spraying balls to all fields on the nose throughout both his BP rounds. And I just really liked kind of how he carried himself throughout the day.
Yeah, his BP was impressive. I mean, and you're right. He was going, it was just
line to line.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was like a professional BP. Quality stuff out of
something about those left-handed hitting Kims who just find barrels all over the place.
Yes.
Jake Kim and Elijah Kim, like And I think, Vinny, you were the first one to say it because you were doing blast and sitting back by me while we were going through it. And you kind of tapped me or like, tell me this doesn't remind you of Jake Kim. And I just started laughing. I'm like, okay,
But I
I
was
was thinking,
serious. I was
no,
serious
I
though.
was
Like,
thinking the
yeah,
exact same thing. I just hadn't said it yet. And you're like, tell me this doesn't remind you of Jake Kim. I'm like, that's a really good comp. And for him to be comped to Jake Kim as a freshman, that's a good path this kid's heading
yeah,
on.
Yeah,
100%.
It's the greatest compliment ever.
We love Jake Kim.
We love Jake Kim.
And then
It's fine.
Hank, going over to you for your final guy, kid out of Roseville. Obviously, we're familiar with a lot of guys over there, and that's Blake Connors.
The baby deer, Blake Connors.
And
No,
now I want to
seriously.
know why you call him the baby deer.
don't tell me 6'1", 140.
He's 6'1", 145. But he's I think when it's all said and done, this kid, he's going to be one of the better ones. If you look at his numbers, they're not crazy, but you can just tell the kid gets after it. Like in the infield, he's got actions. The glove, he presents early. Arm's going to get stronger, but his arm translates on the mound. He's low 80s on the mound already. He's got good off speed. But when he was hitting, I almost want to call it a boring BP, but it was impressive just because it was out of his 3 rounds. I think all the rounds were low line drives, either off the mat or off the cage or to the middle. So I was like, if you're going to take a boring BP like that at this age, I'm surprised when you get some power to what it's really going to look like. But, you know, Blake Connors, he's got a shot to be on the varsity at Roseville this year. They got a good little squad, but, you know, I think he's going to grow more, be in that 6'2", 6'3" range. And, you know, he's got a shot to stay on the left side. But yeah, Blake Kit, I'm going to call him the baby deer until he gains some weight, but he's it's just like the way he runs too. He's like a 7'7". I'm like, dude, just wait. Don't get discarded by that. Like, you guys are still super young. And I also told him too, I was like, hey, the guys I took to Georgia last summer, they didn't do so well in the fall sometimes. And it took them a spring of at-bats and going to one more event to like, all right, there's the gains, there's the progress. So,
and now you guys got 2 years for that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's a lot of time for these kids, but Blake's going to be really good.
Yeah, I like that.
And then Hardy, let's kick it up to you. Let's talk about your last guy out of Saugus High School, Abraham Ramirez.
Yeah, Abe, like I'm looking at his rankings right now on the quick hits, and I'm like, you're gonna go way up the board. He caught my eye in the spring. I actually saw him on opening day, and he made a spectacular catch. He robbed a home run against Ventura High, which basically wound up winning them the game. If he doesn't catch that ball, they go down 5-4. They lose. They wind up winning 4-3. Just tremendous performance that day. Saw him again later in the spring. Liked it, and now had a chance to get him out to an event. And first thing I noticed, and this goes back to Vinny's point and some of the other stuff we talked about, is significantly stronger. And I pulled him aside and just like, hey, how much have you gained since spring? He's like, well, summer I've gained 8 pounds. He's like, probably since the start of last season, closer to 15. I'm like, you can tell, like, you just look way stronger, and then it shows up all of his tools. Ran a 6'9", 60, as you said already, Les. Like, it's a little wet track. It's slow. It's cold. Like, he's probably closer to a 6'7", 6'8" runner. That's center field speed. Then he goes out and he throws 84. Balls are soaking wet. You're not ripping it off the best that you can. So it's probably an 87, 88 mile an hour arm. Vinny, you mentioned it. Like, he's got a chance to play right field if he can't play center field. And then his BP was just, for me, really impressive because I already liked it in game. And now it was like, holy, there's more strength there than I realized. He's 77 to 80 miles an hour of bat speed. He's got 23 miles an hour of hand speed, and he was hammering baseballs up to 99.8, 380-foot tank to left center field, like just all of it all around. And I pulled him aside and was like, dude, get me and back to what Hank said, get me your fall schedule. I want to come see you guys. And if I can't see you in the fall, I'm definitely coming back out to see you guys in the spring because that was so impressive.
Yeah. If you want to talk about like a controlled violence in the
Yeah.
swing, like he has it. Like even after contact, it's a hard backswing, but he was just scoring baseballs up left and right. That was impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
was getting fired up watching it.
380-foot bomb at Hart Park where the ball does not fly out. And on
Any
a
time of day. I don't care what
cool
time of day
morning,
it is
right,
there.
on a cool, damp morning too. So
Yeah.
that was pretty damn impressive.
So we're going to run it back up to Les for our last guy. And I was giving this kid a lot of ribbing during the freshman free because he's been to some events. He was JFG kid 2-time for us, but he just keeps getting better. Like, that's the thing about him. And that's Anthony Daniel out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, and you're right, Hardy. He does keep getting better, and he gets better in all facets of his game, right? It's like not just defensively where he's really strong. It's not just strength where his arm is starting to get a whole lot stronger. It's not just at the plate where it's becoming more consistent line drives, gap to gap, during VP. It's just the entire package, right? I mean, if there's one area we could knock him, it's like, okay, maybe you're not running as fast as you possibly can. But just like Hank said earlier about the baby deer, it's like, dude, that'll come, right? Like he's growing, he's getting bigger, he's getting stronger. Like that's going to come. So I'm not worried about that. But what thing that really intrigues me is AD it keeps getting better and better. I mean, the defense I think is what's really impressed me because it's much more fluid. It's much more natural. It's not as stiff. Like he's getting more comfortable with his body and as it pertains to defense. Because I think the bat is always played, right? I mean, that's why he named it JFG as an incoming 8th grader because he was one of the better hitters on that team.
Yeah, he didn't hit the ball a mile, but he hit everything on the barrel.
Right. Yeah. He was one of the better players on that team and the better hitters on that team. And he was one of the better players and the better hitters on our team this past summer because the bat was always played. And now the defense, I think, is catching up to that. And, he just, again, keeps getting bigger and stronger. And it's just, a guy. It's funny. I saw him when I first saw him. I said, hey, I'm like, dude, you came to, JFG's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, you trying to go to Oregon with us next year? And first thing he says, like, yes, like, he's like, yes, so-and-so told me about it, said it was awesome. Like, he's like, yes, I'm trying to go to that next year. I was like, you're a pretty good spot to get an invitation. Right now. Right, exactly. Cool. Okay. So you're coming. But, I think that was awesome to hear from him, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I've been to JFG's. Like, this is the next big one for me as a sophomore. Like, I want to go to that. Yeah. And then, 2 years from now, hopefully go to future games. So it's like, it's projecting itself to play out that way, right? For a guy like AD.
Yeah, I mean, he's already signed up for preseason at All-State. When he was leaving, he's like, hey, do I need to request an invite? I was like, just request one. You're going to get one anyways, but request it because you're coming. Because I just want to see how much better you're going to get in 2 months because you've gotten better since JFG's, and that was 3 months ago.
Right. Hank, I did want to kick it back to you because you had one more guy here, Marcos Hamilton, at a Rio Americano. I wanted to give you a chance to talk about him because he made your list. So go ahead, take it away with Marcos Hamilton.
Yeah, Marcos. He actually goes to the same school as Trey Hal Chase, future gamer. So
isn't there another guy you've talked about from there? I swear you talked about
Kurihara.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, so, Oregon. Yeah, he went to Oregon with us.
Yeah, no, I tore it up there. You can kind of see the trend of Rio Americano High School in their younger group, I'd say. Mark, he's the third kid that, I think he's got a shot to play varsity on that team. He can run, he could hit, he could field. He's kind of, you're looking at him like, okay, if I monitor this kid a little more, let him do what he does, I think he's going to be fine. But, he's like a kid, like he could be an Anthony Daniel type kid, comes to all these events and then hears about Oregon. He heard about the future games already, so he's already trying to do that. But, he's another kid up here to where it's just one of those kids that needed some extra love. And now that he's on the map with it, he's going to make that a goal for his. But he's a really good player, nice kid. And one of those kids, I think if he just works hard off the field, everything will play out. So, same for all the kids that are freshmen. It's like you get a lot of time. Don't rush anything. And the main thing is you can't compare. Like that's the thing that's going to kill you is once you start comparing yourself, the self-doubt comes in, the ego falls, and
regardless, I'd say a lot of the kids should take, a note from Sean Downs is what he's done. Like he didn't compare.
Right.
Look where he's at now.
Yeah. And I'm not saying in the way like I got better as a player too was you look at the guys that are really good, take what they're doing, steal it to your game. Like that's how I got better. And it's not, cheating, but it's like they're doing that for a reason. So
success leaves clues. Like they had success, follow it.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, Hank. I like say that to my 12-year-old all the time. Like, you can't compare yourself, right? Like, dude, you just can't. And it's like trying to like hammer that home for the last few years with his teams. And it's like, I get it. Like, you go in these all-star tournaments and you're playing these travel ball teams that have been playing together for 3-4 years. And you guys have been together for 6 months, if you're lucky, probably 4 or 5. And it's like, dude, like, just do you, right? Like, damn, the kid's really good. He's 12. Like, yeah, he's 12, but cool. Like,
dude, he does the same thing. He puts his shoes on like you.
Right. Like,
that's like you.
That's great.
We had a little tiny, 5 foot maybe right-handing hitting kid at the freshman free who doesn't look the part of any of these kids, and then he gets MVP, and it's just line drive, line drive, line drive. He took his ground balls through it, like it's got a loop on it, but he hit the first baseman. It was like you're gonna be just fine. You just haven't gone through puberty yet, like these other kids.
He was like 5'1", like 100, I think 105 pounds or something.
Yeah, he was.
Like tiny, Hank, tiny. Like,
I had a kid same. He's like 5'2", 105 pounds,
and his BP was. Like there were kids that looked the part that really struggled, and then saw this guy and he didn't struggle. You're like, dude, awesome.
Yeah.
And I threw in
give yourself 2 years. You'll be just fine when puberty goes down.
Right.
It was his first showcase as a freshman. He's smaller than everyone else, but he didn't give a damn. He took his rounds, and I was like, you know what? I really like this kid.
Yeah. If nothing else, you can respect that attitude. Yeah.
Well, it's like for that kid, like he knows, okay, I can hang with these guys. I just need to keep working and getting stronger so that I can pass them up. Like, they're bigger and stronger than me now, but I hit just with them. Give me 2-3 years. Let me gain 45, 50 pounds and look where I can be.
Yep.
And he's going to look back on that event and be like, dude, I was 75 miles an hour VV back then, and I'm 99 now.
Right. The big field and BB core bats, the great separator
humbles you
between youth baseball and real baseball.
It does. And I wish more people understood what you just said right there. There is a vast difference between real baseball and youth baseball. Don't get caught up in the youth baseball glory, because the BB core, the big field, and better pitchers are going to come real fast.
Right. You better be ready.
Yep. And if you're not, be Sean Downs and keep working. If you're not ready, just keep working. If you've got the work ethic and you've got a little bit of talent, you'll be amazed where you can go.
Right.
And if you don't have a position, be like Jay Kim.
Hit balls hard.
That's the mic drop. That is the mic drop.
When in doubt, hit like Jay Kim. That always helps. All right, boys. Well, appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check out prepbaseballreport.com for all your news, rankings, and event information. And until next time, we'll all see you at the yard.